Pete, just letting you know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play the open, and then if you want, you can introduce the casual Friday.
So you're not going to use the thing Megan did?
I will, but if it's okay, can you introduce it, and then we can do it just for this first week. Let's do something like that.
Have me introduce it, then you'll play the thing. Okay.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Hey, Dom, are you familiar with Source Connect?
No, I am not.
Oh, water's so good.
Are you familiar with Source Connect, Greg? It's like a home studio thing that my so-called agent, is asking me to get for voiceover stuff. But they said wait till you book something and then get it because it costs money. But
that's something else I want to talk to you about.
What?
Voiceover.
Is it good or bad?
No, it's good. It's such questions. So.
Oh yeah.
Have you
done it? Like I'm trying to do it. I've read a lot of Civic Media commercials.
Yeah. That's the extent. That's the extent of mine. So.
Okay. Yeah, I'm happy to share what little I know. Absolutely.
All right.
All right, live stream, 20 seconds till live.
Sweet.
There's nobody out there.
At least not on the radio.
From Washington to Hollywood and right back to Wisconsin. It's Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba and Greg Bach. Connecting the dots on the stories shaping our world with smart takes, sharp humor, and plenty of personality.
You know, I really expected more professional behavior from you.
It's news and culture without the noise.
Yeah, I'm on.
Here's Pete Schwaba and Greg Bach.
Dude.
Oh, yeah. Let's go, baby. This is Nite Lite, as you just heard, with Pete Schwaba and Greg Bach. And we are here to serve you folks. We are going to bring you a show tonight that is going to help you, wind into the weekend. I think, would you say that's accurate, Greg? We're going to have some fun tonight.
We are going to wind like the Dickens.
Watch your language.
What?
We have a big announcement to make, too. This is our first Friday show together.
Yeah, we were Schwaba-less last week. Schwaba-less.
I know. It's the highest ratings in the network history, which is a little disconcerting. But we have a big announcement to make tonight because this is our first.
Good night, folks. We are done. It's our last show.
Don't get too high or too low. It's a very basic thing. This is our first Casual Friday.
Ooh.
It's Casual Friday with Pete and Greg.
Beautiful.
We call that sounder, hey, get someone from the office to do it really quick.
Megan, I know you're on your lunch break, but you can just speak into my iPhone.
Yeah,
She's awesome. I love Megan.
That's great.
She got me balloons on my 2nd year anniversary for the Nite 1.0. She's fantastic. I love Megan. And her voice sounds great.
I've never got balloons.
Well, you're down there in Radio Park, Greg. You're down in Racine. Megan is in Madison. And actually, it was when I was doing the show for Madison, she got me balloons. Very sweet. So
gotcha.
And she just introduced our first Casual Friday. So I don't know what this is going to look like. It's not like on the office or Office Space where they had Hawaiian shirt day. This is going to be it's casual. We're here to have fun. It's Friday.
Yeah.
Right?
We're having a good time.
Let's do this. All right. We got a great show tonight, folks.
Yes.
Dom Lee working the board. How you doing tonight, Dom? You feeling good?
I'm feeling great. You know, I got some energy in me. It's Friday. It's Casual Friday. It doesn't get much better than this.
Are you wearing like a pair of Dockers tonight on Casual Friday, or what are you rocking there in Madison?
I got my kind of polo suit on. I got some pants on, I think. and I got some.
Wait,
nice-
go back. I have pants on, I think.
Well,
On Casual Friday? Oh,
it's
whatever.
casual, right?
I mean, yeah. Well, that was the question I had for you all. Is that if it's Casual Friday? I mean, I'm always wearing jeans anyways. So how do I get? Do I show up in pajamas? And do you say pajamas or pajamas?
I say pajamas because
Yeah,
when you shorten it, you say jammies. You don't say jammies.
I say
maybe you
I
do.
say PJs, so I say PJs or pajamas. But yeah, I mean, I will certainly show up here next Friday in pajamas, and I will bring some lamps, so we'll have like a nice cooler mood on the live
Yeah.
stream.
Love
Let's
it.
make Casual Friday a real thing, and then we'll just get wasted on air.
Next Friday, I'm going to wear a jockstrap and clogs. That's what I have planned, and it's not going to. It's an audio medium, so it's fine. And I'm sitting, so I don't think we. have an issue.
Pete, we're on a live stream too; they can see you. And
That's
if you
the
want to see,
disadvantage.
if you want to see that, you can always check us out in the live stream. We are currently streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and the platform that we still call Twitter. Pete, what do we have going on tonight for the show?
Well, I'll tell you what, we got a lot going on, and
Yeah.
we're going to start things off at 5:35. Well, we're going to have a little Casual Friday fun first, but then after the news, which is about 20 minutes away, we have got. This is so exciting,
Oh
Greg.
gosh, yes.
Jason Scheff, lead singer of Chicago for over 30 years. He took
Yep.
over the band, or as the lead singing duties and playing bass when
Yep.
Peter Cetera left. There
Yep.
might have been someone in there very briefly, but Jason owned the position and rocked the band for over 30 years. He wrote, I want to say their biggest hit ever, "Look Away" or "Will You Still Love Me?" But anyway, he is great. We've already talked to him, so we're going to play that. It's going to be a lot of fun.
And what's great about this is the first time we're doing this. So we have spoken with him. We have 2 segments with him tonight, and then what we will also have is a full interview available on the Civic Media website. So it's going to be a snippet of what we had with Jason when we did the interview, but then it's like a 40 to 45 minute interview you'll be able to check out on Civic Media's website, civicmedia.us, and talk about the fact he's playing a show. He's got a show coming up in Marionette.
We've got Marinette. We've got that's okay. We've got some new news on that too. I've been asked to introduce Jason at the Community Rec Center where he's going to play. So I am very excited about that and to meet him in person. So Greg, I know you were talking about, a potential road trip. I don't know if that sweetens the pot for you, but your old pal Pete is going to be introducing him.
What day is that again? It's happening.
It's March 14th.
March 14th. I might be able to make that work.
Dude, you could do it with me. We'll go up there together, and because we have already talked to him. But I'm really excited to meet him in person because he is such a cool guy, folks. I'm telling you, don't miss this interview. He's a really good dude. We talk about one of the most iconic bands in the history of rock and roll, jazz, whatever genre they took over at the time. They're just this phenom in music. So we'll talk about all of that with Jason at 5:35, and then this is fun too. In the second hour, we've got Jean Crichton here. What do you know about Jean Crichton, Greg?
I know. This is what I know. I know she works for, I want to get the name of the place correct, the Manfred Olson Planetarium. And it's more space talk.
More space talk. I love space talk.
Me too.
And Jean Crichton seems like she should have, that's a great name for someone who directs a planetarium. I don't know.
What if she got married to someone named Beryl? She'd be Jean Crichton Beryl.
Well, you know what? We should ask her that. I think if she's, you think she has a Tinder account, we could try to match her up with somebody.
What are you doing right now?
Oh, I want her to be happy.
Jean, you available?
No, I'm not. Listen, I'm a happily married man, and I'm sure Jean's all set. She doesn't need our help, regardless of whatever she's got going on. But she is an expert and the director of the Manfred Olson Planetarium at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, which has some big news. So we'll talk to Jean about that.
Go Panthers.
Did you go there?
I went there. I'm a graduate of UW Milwaukee, class of 2008.
Wow, dude, that's fantastic.
Yeah. I went to college later in life, I should say.
What is your degree in?
Political science and law studies with an emphasis in American politics.
Wow. Oh, wow. And how are you? Is this a struggle for you to get through Casual Friday? Because you must be burning at the or bursting at the seams talking.
I mean, sometimes it's just
politics.
Sometimes it's nice not to talk about it. When you think about it, read about it, talk about it all the time, a few hours of not talking about it feels nice.
I hear you. That's fair enough. What is the weather like where you guys are, Dom? Let's start
Mind
with
your
you.
business.
Is that a personal question? When did that become a?
It's cloudy. It's cloudy. It's about 45 degrees. It's a casual kind of Friday. So it's
Casual cloudy.
The Radio Park weather balloon clocks in at a 58 and cloudy. Feels like 55. Highs of 58, lows of 39. The AI weather report says cool and cloudy afternoon, but expect some rain later tonight.
Are you sure you didn't major in radio, dude?
It's a funny story.
Good.
I applied after high school to get into radio school, and I got in at a school called the Brown School of Communications in Minnesota. And then they sent me this perspective sheet where it showed how much you'd be making coming out of radio school. I said, well, I will not be going to radio school anymore because $7 an hour does not feel good.
even in 2005, that's not right.
Oh man, it was no, that was 97.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I woke up this morning here and it looked like I looked out the window and it looked like Sleepy Hollow. It was so foggy.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you guys. I love kind of gloomy weather once in a while. And that kind of fog, I don't know. It just makes me want to write or have coffee or do something. I don't know.
It makes me want to just bundle under a big blanket and do nothing. And with the weather, being like, what am I supposed to do? It's terrible outside.
Right.
I can't do anything right now.
Be expected to work on a day like this.
Yeah.
I got to pull a Ferris Bueller. All right. So I think without further ado, we should get to our Nite Lite Casual Friday question of the night.
Oh.
Let's talk about the question.
Okay, question.
Question.
Pregunta.
Question.
Okay, I have a question. Questions?
This question.
Domanda.
Question.
Questions?
What is the lamest excuse for being late to work? Whether you've heard someone else say something or you've used one yourself, let us know. What is the lamest excuse for being late to work? 855-752-4842, 855-75 Civic. You can also text us on the Civic Media app. Very easy to use, and you can take all your Civic Media shows and stations with you wherever you go. And if you're watching the radio on YouTube, Facebook, or X Twitter, you can drop us a stream comment there, but let us know, be part of the show. And as always, folks, you can chime in on anything we're talking about or whatever's on your mind. Be part of the show.
Now that you expanded the parameters to the ones you've heard, I've got ones.
Yeah. Oh, you've heard.
Oh, yeah. Like opening up your phone and seeing something and telling you why they can't make it. And you're like, you're supposed to be a functional adult. That's weird. Yeah. That's a weird reason. So
right.
We'll talk more about that though in the second hour, but please feel free to drop those in anytime you'd like.
Yeah, it'll be fun. And Dom, you be part of the fun too. You don't even have to text in. You just pop right in because you're on the microphone with us.
All right, I'll do that. Yeah.
Okay.
Membership has its privileges.
Absolutely. What do you think we should talk about? Maybe couple topics here before we get to our first guest?
Hey, you know what? Let's talk about a couple topics.
Do the three big things.
There we go.
The first big story.
This Sunday, 2 a.m. Spring. Forward. That's just my way of saying daylight savings times this Sunday. Don't complain about it. I don't want to hear about your whining. It's fine. We've done it before. We'll do it again. Get over it.
What do you think people are complaining about, Greg? That they lose an hour of sleep? Like, I don't know many people who complain about extra daylight. I certainly don't.
I don't lose an hour of sleep. It's the worst thing ever. But I just don't like not getting my... And then, okay, whatever. Go to bed an hour early. I don't care. Like, seriously, like, this is where I get real old, man. Like back in my day, but like, I don't care if you lose an hour of sleep, go to bed earlier. Also, people who have the reasons, like it messes with my clock system the entire week. I'm like, no.
What internal clock or like?
Yeah. They're like, I just don't sleep right for the first week. I'm like, yeah, you're getting used to it, but also, no, sorry. I don't. Those are all, I
don't know. I get depressed when it's dark. I love daylight savings. In fact, I like that we spring forward because I go, at least it's going to be later. I don't care. I'll be crabby because I lost a little sleep, but it's going to be nice out. And I hate winter. And my whole family is just, they don't like that extra hour of darkness or getting dark at 4:30. So
it's depressing. I like if there was a happy medium where we picked a time where it could be like, all right, it will like right now where we're at. I would be okay with that, where the sun is going down like finally around between 6:30 and 7 total darkness. I'm okay with that. But 4:30 darkness is
Crazy.
just, it batters the soul. It just feels bad. It's like that portion, that month is designed to make you feel miserable. So when we get to this point, I'm like, bring it. I want that. I take the hour. I couldn't care less about it. Give me sunshine.
And what about the movement to keep daylight savings time? I would be in favor of that.
Absolutely. The Senate was in favor of that. And then the House came through and was like, watch us mess this up.
Dom, quickly, how do you feel about daylight savings?
I don't mind it. Like Greg said, it's just not a huge deal for me. I can deal with it. Obviously, it's not the best, but I can deal with it. It's whatever.
All right. Fair enough. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is our first Casual Friday here at Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba and Greg Bach. Dom working the board. We are coming back after a very short break, and we're going to talk about 2 more humongous Casual Friday topics. We come on back, folks. It's the Civic Media Radio Network.
I'm really happy for you. I used to really bag on 80s Chicago. When I used to bag on 80s Genesis and then realize, these are solid, amazing pop songs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one that he was talking about, that Jason was talking about yesterday, was "Will You Still Love Me?" And when during the interview, people will hear this, but he said that's kind of a deep song, and now I know what it's about. I went back and looked at the lyrics last night.
Yeah,
in high school, I was just like, whatever, it's a song. But that's a great tune.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and what I didn't talk to them. I mean, I wish we'd had a little bit longer because I would have asked them about the fact that they went back to the experimentation, I think, for Chicago 18, the Stone of Sisyphus, which was like concept, deep jazz, like avant-garde, like no singles. And people were like, what are you doing? And we're like, we're playing music because we're musicians. That's what we do.
And I thought, because I had a question about that too, if we needed it, but I thought that the studio killed that album, Greg, and then it came back in 2008. They finally released it. Maybe
really?
I think so, because that was a weird story. I had never heard that before until yesterday when I was looking it up.
Chicago 22. No, Chicago 32. Stone of Sisyphus. I think it was one of their first, one of their only records with a title.
Yes, I think you're right about that too.
This is Chicago 32. It's the 21st studio album.
I'm so back into them now, though. After that, I was into them about 3 years ago during COVID. It was Prine, Croce, and Chicago for some reason. I just found them on YouTube. I went on a Chicago kick, and now I'm kind of back on one again, which is
my gosh, fun. Croce, Jim Croce. Oh,
love him, dude.
Mm-hmm. Good Lord. All right.
Did you see Dana's text?
Yes, I did.
What is that from? That's from Paul Newman in The Sting.
Ah, okay.
Trying to tick off Doyle on again.
Yeah, all right.
Oh, jeez.
Take me as I am. Put your hand in mine. Now and forever. Darling, here I stand.
That's awesome. That's Chicago 3.0. What is that song? I know I can't. That's Satira, not Chef?
Will you still love me?
That's Chef.
Oh, that's Will You Still Love Me.
That's Jason Chef. Yeah.
Boy, he does kind of sound like Satira sometimes.
I mean,
and vice versa.
Playing all those songs, you're going to eventually take on a little bit. We talk about that too in the interview. I don't know if it'll be part of the interview you're going to hear tonight, but you can always go to civicmedia.us and hear the entire interview. We actually talk about the fact of Jason being a studio session guy and knowing how to blend into a project to make things work. So, but that's more coming up in a little bit.
Great stuff. We've got a couple more things on Casual Friday here on Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba and Greg Bach. Let's get to our second big thing.
The second big story.
All right. Well, Wendy's is
I feel
hiring.
like fast food has really been in the news this week.
We had the Big Arch Burger the other day.
The Big Arch.
Yeah, and this is a taster of. I had it right in front of me here. Oh,
Is this-
Wendy's hiring a chief tasting officer.
Okay. So before you all get excited over this I'm sorry, but this is a lie. They are not hiring see, to me, we talked about this before we went on the air. To me, a chief tasting officer would be someone in charge of making sure the menu items were properly made, properly seasoned, like always going back saying, oh, this burger is good, but we could be doing something. That to me is what a chief tasting officer is. But what it really is, it's a person who can basically do content creation for them. That's that is the gist of everything. It says right here, it says the role offers $100,000 salary for a selected independent contractor. So you don't work for Wendy's, you're on your own, to create promotional taste testing content and potentially star in advertising. That is, you are hiring someone to be on YouTube and on TikTok. That's all this job is. I would be a chief tasting officer in a heartbeat. I don't want this. This is chief whatever job. I don't like it.
It sounds so official too. I'm a chief tasting officer. What do you do? Oh, I record myself on Instagram taking a bite of or drinking a biggie. And it's temporary. It's they say it's $100,000, but that's prorated. If they use you for 3 months, it's $25,000. Like, it's a little misleading. And you're right. It's just a content creation thing. It's like we're eating food and posting it, and you're not going to say you don't like it. It's like that guy at the McDonald's thing we talked about the other day. Of course, it's a great product. Okay.
Of course you say, but takes a bite and goes, this is trash. Who did this? I just think, I think this is ridiculous. This is a bait and switch if I've ever seen. Like, I mean, they put it right out there. I guess it's not a bait and switch, but like when you say chief, well, first of all, any officer position is a company position. It comes with benefits, a package, those things. They're hiring you as an independent contractor. You don't get your own office. You're going to be working from your basement. This is Wendy's. Do better. You're better than this. You got better fries than almost everybody, but this, my friends, I will not stand.
And I said Biggie. I think it's a fry. Oh, the Biggie was the drink. That was their large drink.
Yeah.
I remember, because it was embarrassing to order.
Yeah.
I just want to address this text real quick. Brian from Southern Wisconsin in 608 says, my beef with daylight savings is it puts the sun back in my eyes for 3 weeks on the drive to work. Oh, man.
Okay. Sunglasses?
Sunglasses. You take? Yeah.
Sunglasses, the little flip flasher thing. I don't know. I'm not. Hey, Brian, I understand. I get it. I totally understand that. But also, I like sunlight.
Yeah, but the rest of us like sunlight. So come on, take one for the team.
You put up a thing there from Tim on the live stream and says, I tried the Big Arch yesterday. It was horrible. Won't get it again. Tim, would you do me a favor and go a little deeper into that? What was it about that burger that you didn't like? Go ahead and put that back on the live stream, because the presentation just seems odd. But let us know why you didn't like it. Was it the cooked product? Was it the size? Was it the fact that, of course, it looks huge in the advertisement, but it's really a squished burger? I'd love to know more from you, Tim.
Sauce kind of looked gross too.
Yeah.
All right. We are. I think we have a couple more minutes here for our final big thing.
Casual Friday, big thing number 3.
Big story.
Yeah.
On Casual Friday. Smoking. All right. I thought of this the other day. This cracked me up. Greg, you and I have both spent a lot of time in comedy clubs. We remember the days where it was just, you'd look out at the audience and it was just a haze of smoke.
Yeah.
A friend of mine, Tim Plager, posted something on Facebook the other day that said he remembers going to the dentist, and the dentist would smoke and then not glove up and go into the kid's mouth. I want fishing around for his teeth while they smell like nicotine.
And that's my first question to that was was your friend a dentist patient back in 1894? Because even 20, 30 years ago, that seems like it would be against the law.
Well, this was probably early 70s, and everybody smoked. I mean, it was like.
Did you smoke, Pete? Are you a former smoker?
No, but here's the thing.
Okay.
I've taken a couple drags, I think they used to call it.
Yeah.
I have asthma, though. I don't mess around with that stuff. So I told my wife recently, smoking is cool. There's no way around it. When I watch movies, I love when people smoke, except Ben Affleck because he looks like an idiot. However, I love watching people smoke in movies. And so I said, I could start smoking now. I'm in my 50s. The health effects aren't going to get me till I have other health effects. This is the perfect time to start smoking, folks.
Okay, I'm not going to be down. I'm not going to endorse smoking. I'm a former smoker, and I will say this: I would pay money to the American Lung Association to watch you try smoking. But you have to do it like every other 12 and 13-year-old I grew up behind like a
convenience store. Why
convenience
do you pay
store
me though instead of the
no. And I want to see you try because I just want to see you hold the cigarette like a new smoker and then take a bit. Like every movie and TV show I've ever watched.
I would totally do that. I would do the military hold, and I would do the cool French artist hold. I want to smoke. I really wish I could.
You learned so many things from Nite Lite. Wow, that'd be great.
All right, folks. It's Casual Friday. You are here on a perfect night. We are sending you into the weekend casually. And after news, sports, and weather, we're going to be back with Jason Sheff, the former lead singer of Chicago. Do not go anywhere. You're not going to want to miss this. It's Pete Schwaba and Greg Bach on Nite Lite on the Civic Media Network.
Alrighty.
Yeah, that song is pretty deep. It's pretty it has a little bit of the Paradise by the Dashboard Light kind of vibe to it.
Did Jim Steinman write that song? What's the title of that song again?
It just says, Will You Still Love Me?
Still love me for the rest of my life. I can't go on. Oh man, Jason's hair is very 80s in that song. Whew. Holy mother glory, amazing.
He had it high and tight in 2013.
Yeah, but he's got good hair.
Yeah,
he's got good hair. He's mid 60s, still got good hair.
Totally. And it's so funny yesterday. I remember him saying, like, well, you got to understand, these guys are all before my time. I'm like, it's like a guy in his 60s saying, like, that's how far back we're going into rock and roll, right? It's fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it was always a joke I wanted to try. I never get it to work, but it was just the thing of like, I can't handle people who are like in their 60s and 70s now being like, oh, the rock and roll. I never liked rock and roll. I'm like, dude, rock and roll like is the same age as you. It's not like you are an old person in 1950. You're an old person now. And the Beatles are older than you are. Like, what are you? Why are you Like, that's a very weird thing to be younger than it's just very odd to me. I don't know.
I totally agree.
Half thoughts with Greg Bach here on Casual Fridays.
That's one of my things. I don't like when people complain about that stuff because it's like, look, whenever you grow up, you're sort of a subject of the situation. You don't ask when to be born, and you're not cooler because you grew up listening to the Beatles. It's not a thing. It's like being proud to be white or whatever. You don't have any control over that.
Yeah. I think that, I don't ever like to invoke my age in the sense that like example, I never want to speak down to Dom because I'm older. I just want to speak down to Dom because I'm taller and better looking. But no, but like I grew up with all of these dudes who like, looking back now, they were in their 30s and maybe their 40s, and they would do nothing but tell us how little we knew because they were in their 30s and 40s. And that always stuck with me. And if I ever use my age as a reasoning for my beliefs or moral compass, it's simply to say, like, this is why, ... Not that because I'm this age, I'm more knowledgeable or better or whatever. I never want younger people to think that from me because I'm at that target age where a lot of people do that, where they're like, well, I'm in my, back in my day, I used to take the bus to school. You guys don't take the bus. They used to, we didn't, their parents didn't wait for us at the bus. We just waited at the corner. If they kidnapped us, they kidnapped us. Ma!
Yeah, no, exactly. And I'm the same way. I don't like, well, when I was a kid, we played outside all day. Yeah, because you didn't have Fortnite. Or whatever. It's like the stuff is cooler now. You'd be doing that too. Don't act like you're some better person. It's insanity.
I remember I was at a lunch with some friends. It was me and two other couples, And they both couples have kids, and those kids are all in their teenage years, and some are a little bit older. And these people that I've known for 20 plus years, we grew up together, complaining about their kids watching YouTube, watching people play video games, watching stuff on their phone. And I'm sitting there I'm a guy with no kids, but I'm sitting there listening. I go, you realize that our parents complained about us watching TV at this age too, right? They didn't like the way we took in entertainment. This is the way they take in entertainment. It's different. It's not better or worse, but you just sound like our parents right now.
Right.
It's how they're going to take. And then when they're your age, they're going to whine about your grandkids about how they take in information. That's just how this always goes. It's cyclical, and we absolutely do it every single time.
It's weird too, because like I will say, like Coleco football was not as addicting as it was just the little dots going around. It was easier to put down. It's like Pete's playing a little too much Pong lately.
That was my impression of an Atari system.
This is Casual Friday Secret Show.
This is a casual secret show.
Secret show. Kind of
all right.
All right,
in
guys,
30 seconds. In 30 seconds, we get to hear from Jason Sheff.
Jason Sheff.
In my head, he's still of Chicago. He could rejoin. You never know.
You know, one of my questions for him was, why did you leave? And I didn't get to ask it.
You asked that.
Did I?
You did.
Mm-hmm.
That was a test. Thank you, Greg.
Amazing.
All right, guys. 10 seconds.
All right.
We'll be back. Welcome back to Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba and Greg Bach. Folks, it's great to have you here on this Friday night. Our next guest is an incredibly talented and successful singer-songwriter, and he was the lead singer for the band Chicago for over 30 years. He is playing in Northeast Wisconsin next week in my hood right here in Marinette, and he is here to discuss all of this with us tonight on Nite Lite. It is my pleasure to welcome Mr. Jason Sheff. Jason, how are you? Welcome.
I'm doing great. How are you? That's a very nice introduction. Thank you.
Well, it's the least I could do. You got up early. You're in LA, right? So this is kind of early for you.
Yeah, it's I get up early these days, so I've been up for a while.
That's awesome. Well, you got Pete Schwaba here, Greg Bach. We are thrilled to have you on the show. Why don't we start with this show you're doing in Marinette? This is where I live now, and I've lived kind of all over, but I love it when we get big acts here in this little town of ours. What's the show going to be like? Is it going to be a mix of Chicago and your own tunes? How are you going to approach this?
You know, I haven't started adding my own solo stuff, although there's a couple songs. One song, which was the title track of Chicago 36, Now. I have a new version that's not released yet that I've got all my old buddies that made all the hit records that everybody's grown up with in the 70s and 80s. But I haven't added them yet. So what you're going to hear is you're going to basically hear the soundtrack of your lives through the 70s and the 80s. I remember joining Chicago in 1985 and the world-class problem that we always had, and that's before the hits that I made with them. What's the set list going to be like? Because we can't play all the hits. So it's really great to be able to cherry pick the stuff that across the board, people want to hear. So it's going to be what it's always been, just taking you down memory lane. I've got an incredible band. And so you're going to hear, if you saw the group from 1985, end of 85, through 2016, you'll be hearing the voice that you saw in the concert. And so I get that a lot from people that come up to me and say, I saw you in 91, I'll be 64 in April, and I'm starting to see the next generations. In fact, one of the bands that I have along with what I'm doing is with Jay DeMarcus of Rascal Flatts. And, he is a great example of the next generation. He's 10 years younger than me and sent me a message in 2002 saying, you got to know that Chicago is what made me want to make music, and you'll hear your influence in our music. And I've particularly followed your era of the career. So So it's going to be a blast, and it's always great reconnecting with people that I've grown up with for the last 40 years.
When you're putting together a show like this, how do you reimagine these tunes? Like you said, it's a walk down memory lane, but I also think you want to put your own signature on it. How do you approach some of these songs that are so classic and say, let's do something a little bit different here, let's try this? Or do you keep it, the same thing, but, do you want to make it more exciting for yourself after playing these songs for so many decades?
Great question. And I don't really have an issue with making it interesting for me. People have always asked me, what song would you say that you would never want to play again? And I'm telling them the truth that this body of work is so sophisticated and rich that I've never felt that way. I've toured with some other bands that are big bands that I won't mention names, but I thought if I had to play that music every night, it would drive me crazy. But to be able to get into something that's just really, always a challenge. It's funny you'd ask that question because I've been thinking of maybe veering off a little bit here and there. Gino Vanelli has really reimagined his music over the years. And at first I was kind of put off by it because I'm such a huge fan. I wanted to hear the songs sound like what I remember them as. But, Sting did that with his solo interpretations of his songs. So I'm right on the verge of wanting to experiment a little bit. But as of now, I really keep the stuff sounding like what people want to hear it as. My twist is I have an incredible band. And so, being performed on that level, I think brings its own difference,
Do you have favorite Chicago songs to sing during these concerts, Jason? I mean, I know you've got your own hits that you wrote when you joined the band, but like when you go back to Terry Kath and Peter Cetera, which of those songs that you didn't write are your favorites to perform?
I'd have to say Just You and Me, because that was the first album and the first singles that I was exposed to Chicago. Again, being 64 years old, when those songs came out, I think it was 1973, so I would have been 11 years old. And I was just starting to get heavily into the radio. So I was too young to experience the early stuff as it happened. So Just You and Me, plus it's got a great solo section. And the sax player that I bring out with me most of the time, Patrick Lamb, again, Gino Vanelli's guy, is such a great soloist. So we really open it up there. I love that. Will You Still Love Me, which was the first hit that I sang for the band. And 25 or 6 to 4. I mean, it's like, that's an up-tempo song and it's got a ton of energy. And I think people, would say, man, that's got to be a challenge. I'm going to let you in on a little secret here. It's so easy. The song plays and works itself because it's so great and it's got a great tempo. So it actually sounds like it's a lot more difficult than it is. But that's just between you and me. Oh, this isn't going out publicly, is it?
We'll edit this whole portion out, put a little black strip over your eyes.
I like letting people know.
Or we'll put some music behind it.
Yeah, exactly.
I like letting people know.
You bring up a very good point, and I got to really quick as a personal aside here. I was in a group for a very long time. It was an 8-person group with horns, auxiliary percussion, and people would always say, "Oh, are you like ska or are you this?" I said, "No, imagine Chicago. That's who we want to be every time we play. Is we want to be Chicago, a rock band with horns." And something that's to be said about that is when you have a horn section, you're right. The music becomes more complicated. There are more parts. And something that has always impressed me about Chicago, regardless of the era, is that it never rested on the talent of all the players. You always engaged your abilities instead of, you had hit songs, you had ballads, but you still played music that was interesting to listen to and interesting to play for yourselves because it kept your chops up.
Absolutely. And it's funny because there are certain people, I think, original fans that didn't really go into the next phase, which the 80s, the Warner Brother years, and I have kind of bashed it a little bit as being not as sophisticated, but sit down and play Hard Habit to Break, or even You're the Inspiration with all the key changes. Even Will You Still Love Me is not for children. Yeah. It's funny because that is a very sophisticated and difficult song to play properly. So it has its own complexity and sophistication. So what I've always enjoyed, and being of that generation that came up enjoying Chicago in the 70s, but loving the 80s as well. So I used to think I was born too late, to tell you the truth. I always thought, man, I missed the good years of being young or being old enough to really participate in what was happening in the 70s. Right now, I got to tell you, I think that I was born at the perfect time because, again, I'm young enough to have been. It's funny because as classic rock is really retiring and fading, I'm the link. I am definitely a link, but when I look at this, and I'm not trying to, inflate myself and be too self-important, but I realize that as this world keeps changing, that I am the guy who was with a group that Jimi Hendrix took out on the road with him, The Doors, Janis Joplin. So I am getting secondhand all of those stories. So, and then all of a sudden having my own part of the legacy. And so now when I meet people like Jay DeMarcus, who's 10 years younger than me, or 20 years younger, 30, they look at me as, you were there, you were with these guys. And so I'm in a very reflective time right now. I talk about this during my show too, so I don't talk too much during the show, but I love to tell the stories, and people tell me they love hearing them.
Let's talk about that. You grew up around music and you played with all these. I'm fascinated by the idea that you were like in your early 20s when you took over as the lead singer of this iconic band following two other popular singers. Were you intimidated? Walk us through that a little bit. What was that like joining this band at your age, even though you were, really talented and certainly worthy?
Well, what I love to tell up and comers, and it's a lost art, is that get the reps in. My mother tricked me for my 21st birthday and bought me a vocal lesson with the great Seth Riggs, the guy here in town. The time he was teaching everybody from Barbra Streisand, Stevie Wonder, Michael Jackson, everybody. And the trick was that the lesson was expensive. He was $50 for a half hour. And back in 83, that was a fortune. So I couldn't blow it off. I had to go and take the lesson. And I thought I was going to be walking in and this guy was going to be thinking, great, here's another stage mother throwing their kid at me and I'll just get this over. And I literally walked in thinking, all right, I can't be so irresponsible to blow it off. It was expensive. And this dude lit me up. He saw something in me, and he basically showed me in the first lesson what it felt like to properly connect your voice, which is a whole, that's basically what it's all about, going from, down in a chest voice all the way to a high voice and not breaking and cracking, right? And so to feel that in the first lesson. So the point is, I had zero expectations I just wanted to keep getting gigs. And as a bass player, being able to sing background vocals, and I was always really good at hearing parts and pretty quick. But I never saw myself as being a front man or an artist. But getting the repetitions in, when all of a sudden my tape got into the right hands and I got a phone call from Warner Brothers saying, we think you're the new lead singer of Chicago. I thought, wow, there's no way this is going to work. So when you ask, what was that like stepping into, I think a lot of what I was feeling was, I wasn't putting, pressure on myself and expectations, because I go, this is not going to work. It's not like sitting there going, I've got to make this happen. Or like I see a lot of people, a lot of kids putting the pressure on themselves. So I think it relaxed me. Plus, I knew they were really leaning into me. They were saying, we think you're the guy. And I'm going, well, wait till they find out I'm not, but I'll just keep going until I crash and burn. And something really weird happened on the way to the office. It felt comfortable. I had David Foster and Humberto Gatica on the other side of the glass. And again, I'm sitting there thinking, I probably won't even be able to get a sound out, let alone, sing anything. But when the red light went on, it was the most comfortable, and I settled into it and drilled it and won David over. And that's completely transformed literally on that day. I was thinking this is going to be over before it starts, even like with the vocal lesson. So that's how it happened. And I didn't really have this pressure and expectation on myself because I thought it's not going to work. And that's the thing that I love to share with up and comers and younger people, to say, there's whatever you believe, destiny and fate and, God's plan, whatever it is that people, it's really true, because there's going to come a moment where you're going to be standing in the batter's box and it's either going to be right or it's not going to be right.
Jason Sheff is our guest here tonight, folks. We are coming right back after this very short break with the former lead singer of Chicago. This is Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba and Greg Bach on the Civic Media Network. Welcome back. This is Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba and Greg Bach on the Civic Media Radio Network. Mr. Bach, if you please.
I was reading up about you, and one of the things I said that you do, and I'm not sure if you still do this, but you do songwriting workshops, you do music lessons, and I imagine in those moments you were giving them advice on how to, I don't want to say break into the business or make it big, but as someone who has as much experience as you have, What are you passing along as well that maybe, especially for younger artists who see the world as a social media landscape, I must get here, I must get on these things. From your point of view, what do you say to them that maybe is a little different as far as, like, as you said, get your reps in, be prepared for that moment, the thing that transcends all trends that works for an artist who wants to really make it in their craft?
I haven't really done a lot of educational stuff on how to get into the business. Although when people ask me, they think that there's a magic bullet to say, oh, go talk to these people. What I tell them, which is what happened with all of us, and it's still really the procedure. Get yourself a YouTube channel and start uploading constantly. There you're going to get your reps in. And if you're great, you're not going to be hidden forever. If you're not, then you just come to terms with it's not for you.
Yeah.
I think that's what people are kind of tentative and afraid about. But that's the most advice I ever give of how to get into the business is, just get out there publicly. Look what happened to Arnel Pineda with Journey by YouTube videos.
Yeah.
And funny enough, he's told me that I inspired him. When he got the band, they were like, Arnel, this is amazing what you've done. And he pointed to me and he says, he showed me it's possible. That was a great thing to hear. But that's getting exposure. Do you guys know who Victor Wooten is?
Yes. Oh my goodness. Yes.
Right. Victor
so good.
Has a way of making the most complex stuff simple. He's also a magician, literally like magic tricks. And he, first of all, there's nothing remedial about what he's doing musically, but he breaks stuff down so that it's accessible. He literally has workshops where he'll pull somebody out of the audience who has never touched a bass in their lives, and he's got them playing bass within like 5 minutes. So he's got these devices. That's what I do with songwriting. I've got some things that I teach that are so simple that are very sophisticated, and I've done it out at Vic's camp, and he's stopped me and said, you guys, I want to just point out, do you hear the sophistication in the simplicity? And that's very Victor Wooten. So that's what and here's another thing that I find real interesting. And I'm sure you guys can relate to this. I love asking people who are successful in their fields, is that when something comes fairly natural to you, I've taken it for granted that it's special, because I've never run off with, hey, I'm special, but just the information and how I do things, I think, everybody knows how to do this, but they don't. So it's called, when you share it, and that's when I started teaching online, and people were like, it was revolutionary to them. And I went, this is fun to be able to show them something that gets them up and running and create momentum quickly. So that's what I like to do is I've got some songwriting stuff that I've done that really breaks down. And I'm using a very Victor Wooten-ish tagline saying, you want to sound like you're a lot better than you are, but it's true, it's really true.
So Jason, tell us about a lot of lead singers that join iconic bands, just kind of hold the place after the previous singer left. You have 2 or 3 of the band's biggest hits ever, and you were the third lead singer. How has Chicago, did they get lucky? Are you just, did you just step in and crush it? Obviously you did, but what was that like for you? That must have been kind of a relief in a sense, like, hey, I contributed these amazing top 5 hits.
Without question, starting with Will You Still Love Me? What was awesome is that, and I've watched people who have never been able to experience that, great singers, but have never been able to experience that. And I've seen the frustration in them. And I think that is so fortunate that itch was scratched basically on day one for me. And really what it was, and this is where Bill Champlin and I really hit the ground running, is that I was starting to do a lot of recording. Yeah, some lead vocals, but I was really starting to do a lot of background vocal recording. Bobby Caldwell, David Lastly, who was one of James Taylor's, main background singers during the heyday, Bill Champlin. I always had an ear to blend in. That's the team player in me. And I watched Bill Champlin demonstrating this too. Phenomenal lead singer, but as a background vocalist, that really, and when I look back on my career, that's one of the things that makes me the most proud, is to go in and drill it.
It's just spectacular. I mean, the reach of the band, the hits, the lead singers, the background players. It's a phenomenon, really. I don't know of any other band really that have been able to sustain being so relevant for so long with moving parts. It's spectacular, and it's exciting to talk to you today, Jason. You wrote some of their biggest hits ever. I hope you knock them dead in Marinette and blow the roof off the community rec center here. It's going to be an absolute blast, and it's been great meeting you. We really thank you for spending time with us.
Well, you too. And if you guys are around and you come, please come say hi. I'd love to meet you in person if you're able to come.
Well, listen, dude, I'm going to hit you up for comps like you would not believe.
Come on.
As we're off here.
I know somebody.
So do I. I hope they let me in. We'll see.
No, absolutely. Come and hang with me,
Yeah, would love it.
I'll take care of you,
sir, for your time and continued success.
Thanks, guys.
All right. That's Jason Sheff from the band Chicago, also a successful and popular touring artist right now. And Greg, that was fantastic what he said about being an artist and how it took him that long. But that's the journey of artists, right? Like it's remarkable. So that was really fun. This is Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba and Greg Bach. We are coming right back after the news for more Nite Lite.
Trying to make sense of the world? You've got Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba and Greg Bach.
Call our toll-free number now.
Headlines, culture, and real conversation.
And now, our feature presentation.
Here's Pete and Greg.
Welcome back to Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba and Greg Bach. My name is Greg Bach, and across the state with me tonight is Mr. Pete Schwaba. We have Dom Lee on the boards up in Madison. If you want to be part of the conversation, 855-752-4842, 855-75-CIVIC. Leave a comment on that live stream. We are currently streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and the platform we still call Twitter. Still ahead after this next segment, we're going to be talking to Gene Crichton, who is the director of the Manfred Olson Planetarium, talking about events down there at the planetarium as well as a special celebration. But don't go anywhere. There's much more coming ahead. Now it's that was a great interview, by the way, with Jason Scheff. If you were just joining us, we spoke with Jason Scheff, former lead singer and bassist of Chicago. He stopped by the show. We had a nice chat with him, and what you heard was just a smattering, not even half of the conversation. And we're going to be putting up that entire discussion on the website. You can hear the whole thing, web exclusive, if you will. If you go to civicmedia.us/shows, find out more about that. I had a great time talking to him. Pete, I don't know about you.
It was an interview on the radio. No, he was outstanding.
3 out of 10.
It was that's always fun. Like, I got excited to talk to him because of what he's done and his accomplishments. And I love talking to people like that and meeting people like that to learn about their experience. But sometimes, like with Jason, he just goes above and beyond, and he spent so much time with us. And that's what I really liked about it. And for those of you who want to see him in Marinette on the 14th, that is a week from tomorrow, I will be introducing him at the Marinette Community Rec Center, possibly joined by Greg Bach. We'll see if he can take a trip north. But either way, I'll be there. So stop out and say hello and listen to the soundtrack of your life, as Jason put it. That was a great way to put it.
Anna on the text line listening in Madison says, "Hi, Pete and Greg. That was a great interview tonight. Thank you very much. My first rock concert was seeing Chicago at the Dane County Coliseum on May 8th, 1971.
Wow, how about that?
That may be like one of their first tours.
Yeah,
like major, I should say like national.
Yeah,
because I mean, let me just look this up here. When did Chicago's first album come out? That's right. You are Googling with me.
They formed at DePaul University in Chicago. That's where I went to college too. And I think they became the Chicago Transit Authority in 1967 after they moved to LA and then Chicago. So that might have been their first big tour.
They released their first album. They released Chicago Transit Authority. Wow, talking is tough. In 1969, then their first album, Chicago, in 1970, and that was back in the day. I mean, Pete, I don't mean to get all old man River on this, but like there was a time when bands recorded an album a year or twice a year. They were releasing material all the time. I mean, Chicago Transit Authority, 69, Chicago 70, Chicago 3. I don't know why it's Chicago 3. I guess because it's their third album. 71, 70, like just tons of albums. But so when it's safe to say, when Anna saw them in 1971, they were touring on Chicago 3.
That's crazy.
That was
a blast.
Oh my gosh.
So she saw Terry Kath and all the original band members, and Peter Cetera actually was not a actual original member, but he joined really quickly. I want to say within the first year. So he's basically an original member, but they were all there. I bet that was an absolutely fantastic show. Dawn Saluski, I hope I'm saying that right on the stream, says, looking forward to seeing Jason next weekend in Marinette. Well, great, Dawn. Make sure you say hello. It'll be good to meet you. And our friend who is stuck in the ceiling fan says, this is a casual ass blast, because it is Casual Friday.
It's Casual Friday.
Did we introduce that, Dom? I don't know if we
did not. We did not.
Should get at that.
Let's do it.
It's Casual Friday with Pete and Greg.
Feeling pretty casual, I got to tell you. Our question of the night, folks, I'll just read it right now because we just had kind of a fun produced soundbite. Let's not go crazy.
Yeah.
What's the lamest excuse for being late to work? Pretty simple question. Whether you have given one yourself or heard a coworker say something ridiculous, or you were the supervisor or superior and heard something, we'd love for you to share it. 855-752-4842, 855-75 Civic. You can also text us on the Civic Media app, or if you're watching the radio on X, Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube, you can drop us a stream comment like Dawn just did.
We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, be part of the show, folks. Let's have some fun on Casual Friday here at Nite Lite. Tim Jacobson on the stream says, I tried the big arch yesterday. It was horrible. Won't get it again.
Yep.
I think we already read that. Yeah,
we read, but I asked Tim to tell us specifically why, and he said the patties had no flavor. The combination of sesame seed and poppy seed was off. The sauce was horrible. I ate half of it and threw it out. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. When I saw the thing being put together in the commercial, I was like, this all seems like something. Like, I worked in fast food, and there was always food you created out of the regular items. This seems like something someone created on a dare and said, well, I guess we can. We call it the big arch, but we're really just kidding. We're not really mean it or anything.
My son and his cousins used to make what they called an everything sandwich. They would just go into the fridge at my mom's house, and they would just put everything on a sandwich. And it's kind of like, that's what the big arch looked like. It's like, you've already got a Big Mac, but this has twice the calories of a Big Mac. Anyway, we've already covered that.
They've got the Big Mac. We've got the Big Mick. They're the golden arches. We're the golden arcs. Speaking of excuses, though, we have Monica from Mount Horeb listening on WMDX. She says, my coworker called and said she was going to be late due to the sidewalks being icy on the way to the bus stop. I live just a few blocks further away, and our boss told her I had made it to work. She grouchily said she'd be right in, so it wasn't the excuse itself, but just that she got busted. It's a good thing no one said Chicago was overrated a couple of days ago. That would have been awkward. Peter Cetera was not my favorite singer. Okay. Well,
oh, wow. Okay.
You really wrapped up everything there, Monica.
She just that was like a synopsis of the whole show. I loved it.
Chapter 2, my thoughts on Chicago.
Dana on the text line from the 608. This is my favorite. And it took me a moment, but I got it, Dana. This is his favorite excuse for being late to work. Sorry, I'm late, fellas. I was taking a crap. It's a line that Paul Newman said in The Sting to get under the skin of Doyle Lonigan, who they were trying to rope in this poker game on the train. And it's just a remarkable scene. One of my favorite scenes in movie history. And he really does get under, is it Bernard Shaw? Who played Doyle Lonigan? I'm spacing. Anyway, Paul Newman, outstanding stuff. And that's a great excuse.
What are some of your excuses you've heard in your life? I mean, and the thing is that with working in movies and TV and in comedy, you hear a whole bevy of excuses from the artistic creative types that are always seem to be like, this is my experience too, working with people in that field. It's like their excuses are always so, in my opinion, like nothing, but you're like, I guess I can't force you to be here right now, but I guess you're just not feeling it today.
Yeah, it's weird because I've heard stories. I wasn't there for this one, but I did laugh. It was someone that told me the story. They were on a set. The whole set was held up because some girl was late for 30 minutes, and that cost money. Yeah. Well, they're all waiting around twiddling their thumbs, and then this woman comes in, and they're all like looking at her like, what's your excuse? And she says, my boyfriend is crazy. And everyone just went, oh, okay. And they all got back to work. Like, it was kind of an acceptable excuse. You know, it's like, what does that even mean?
Yeah, that's a nothing excuse to me.
It's a nothing excuse. And I saw another one. This was when I was in high school, and I went to Catholic school. We had to go to mass every day. We would meet at the church.
Yeah.
By this time, might have been once a week, whatever. But this kid comes in, obviously stoned, really late, halfway through the mass. He's got hair hanging in his eyes, and the priest says, "Fred, where were you?" And he takes a beat, and he just goes, I was late. It was like a Spicoli moment. It was like full crowd seen by the food vendors, Great stuff.
So you had to go to school You had to go to mass every day at one point when you were in Catholic school?
I got confused. When I was in Catholic school in Chicago, it was every day. We would meet at the church and then walk over to the school after mass. But when I moved to Marinette, it was, I think, once a week. And that's where I was when this happened. I was probably in 7th grade, and this kid was like an 8th grader or a freshman from the high school. Oh, it's just, I was like, dude, you got to do better than that. Like, at least make something. I was late is not an excuse. That's just the fact,
I mean, it really comes down to is like he was just telling the truth. He was not lying. He was not bearing false witness. He was being a truthful young man. And I'm trying to think of like I wouldn't say they're lame excuses. It's just that I remember there were times in my life where I just didn't want to go to work the next day. So I would do that thing where the day before I'd be like, oh, I'm not feeling so good. I don't feel good. I don't know. Oh God, I hope I'm not getting sick. I really don't want to miss any work. And then later that night, you text someone like, oh dude, I feel terrible right now. And then the next morning, and you call or text at like 5 a.m, not right before you're supposed to clock in, but early. Or you call and you're like, hey, this is Greg. I'm not gonna be coming in today. I don't feel good. I'm so sorry. Click. Who wants to watch more New Girl?
Did you ever think like your voice sounded so terrible? You're like, I should call in sick today because they would never question it. Even though you feel great, you're like, yeah, I'm going to call in but I'm going to get them on the phone and let them hear how horrible. Mike Mercury on social media says, I wasn't sure if I still worked here. That was his excuse for being late. RC Martin, there is no lame excuse. Very few actually enjoy working and probably wouldn't if they didn't have to. Maybe a better question is, what's the most creative excuse for being late? Okay, well, playing lawyer ball there, Rob.
I mean,
that's my buddy.
I mean,
Rob.
as far as being late, I mean, I'm sure I've made up some white lies or like, oh man, this thing happened, or when you walk in disheveled, no one really messes with you. You're like, I'm just having a really bad day. I'm sorry, I'm late, and people are like, oh, it's fine, don't worry about it. And you're like, I was watching New Girl.
Oh man. We're getting a really nice insight into Greg's.
Oh, dude!
You know what? It's funny you say that. I have done that. Like when I had a movie,
New Girl. Yeah, it's a great
not
show.
New Girl, but like if I knew something was on, like remember in the morning they'd have like movies on sometimes on like the fringe channels, not network. If I saw something good on, I would fake an illness. Yeah. And my mom caught me once because I was doing the thing where I hold the thermometer. I was like in 6th grade, did the heater, and I go, "Here you go, Mom." It was like 106. She goes, "Peter." Like she totally called me out, knew what I was doing.
Yeah. It's I would, I mean, as an adult, I would do that. Like, there's a TV show on. I'm like, I can be 20 minutes late. That's fine. This isn't important, whatever I'm doing. If I'm not, I mean, I'm one for punctuality and I do not like being tardy, but there are some times where you can be like, no one's going to, especially if it's like a party or something, no one cares.
Right. But it might have been, it was a very special New Girl that was on that you couldn't miss, right?
Pete, they're all special, okay? All 7 seasons are special.
Whoa, 7.
Yep.
Jay Campbell on social media says, I was too drunk to drive in on time. That's a good one. I like that. Andrew Brown, my garage door was stuck. That could actually happen. That's a pretty good one. And Jim Denny, I believe that's Jim from Appleton, says, my cat wouldn't get off my lap. Ooh, that one. That one's trouble, Jim.
You better call in, friend. Then I mean, seriously, if your cat's on your lap, then you cannot be expected to work.
Possibly be expected to work. All right, we are coming right back with Jean Creighton. She is the director of the Manfred Olson Planetarium at UWM. I cannot wait to talk some stars, and I think I can speak for Greg on that as well. We are coming right back. This is Nite Lite on the Civic Media Network. Because I said maybe.
Save me.
Guys, don't sing. Jean is on. She can hear us singing. We don't want to scare her away.
I'm not so frail.
We actually needed a 4th for our barbershop quartet.
Yeah, exactly.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jean, it's Creighton?
It is.
Creighton. All right. Wonderful. So we are at a shorter break right now. We come back at 22:30. And we're going to put you back in the waiting room. We're going to reset the show, properly introduce you. Just to be sure, I want to make sure I have this correct. Director of the Manfred Olson Planetarium.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
At the University of Wisconsin, Milwaukee. Yep.
Boom, go Panthers. All right.
Outstanding.
I'm going to just do that just for my, just so.
Do you want to
then,
tell? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Greg.
What's up?
No, I was going to probably remind you to say what you're just about to say with the time stuff.
Yeah. So Dom is in Madison right now. He is our tech producer. He will be giving hand signals at the end of each segment. So that means how many minutes we have left. If you're talking when he does that, this means wrap it up because we have hard breaks and we don't like to interrupt our guests. So very simple, very to the point. And do you have any questions for us?
No.
Wonderful. All right, great. We will talk to you in about 1 minute.
Okay, great.
Thank you so much for being here.
I hope you have answers, Gene. That's what I'm looking for.
All right, don't just stop.
We'll do the questions.
You're not a cop. I've told you 1,000 times. You're not a cop. This isn't Law and Order. This is not an interrogation room, all right? Where were you the night of the 6 planets? I don't know.
Whoa.
I'm not good at science. I just like looking at the stars.
Are you going to introduce Gene?
I'll introduce.
Or do you want? Okay, perfect.
Okay. Yeah. All right, we got about 40 seconds.
Wonderful.
Darling, you sent me. I know you sent me. Darling, you.
Welcome back to Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba and Greg Bach. My name is Greg Bach, and across the state from me is Mr. Pete Schwaba, along with Dom Lee in Madison on the boards. You can always get in touch with us, 855-752-4842, 855-75-CIVIC. Leave a comment on that live stream. We are streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and the platform we still call Twitter. You can also send in your thoughts on the lamest excuses for being late to work. Also, let us know your thoughts on the band Chicago. We just talked to Jason Sheff in the first hour. You can catch the entire interview on the website because that was about a 45-minute conversation. You got a little snippet of it. Great discussion with Mr. Sheff. He will be playing on the 14th of March. Where again, Pete? At the Marinette
Community Rec Center. I will be there. Please come on out and say hello and listen to some outstanding music, and maybe Greg Bach will be there.
Maybe I'll be there as well. But without further ado, I want to welcome our second guest for the evening. She is the director of the Manfred Olson Planetarium at the University of Wisconsin, Milwaukee. Go Panthers. Jean Creighton is our guest this evening. Jean, good evening. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
Excellent. Excellent. So, I mean, Pete and I are huge fans of space. I love space. I can look at space and just be amazed by it. I can talk about this all day long, but I'd actually just rather listen. So can you tell us about the Manfred Olson Planetarium?
I would love to. So the Manfred Olson Planetarium is turning 60 this year.
Nice.
And we have about 15,000 people a year. And what's happening is we get a combination of general audiences from the community. We get school groups, of course. We have the birthday parties. We also have classes that take advantage of the planetarium to augment their curriculum, in university classes. Mm-hmm. So we, in addition to focusing on science and exploration, we also love talking about how the culture and science meet.
That's fantastic. Love that.
So, Jean, all right, give us a little background, please, if you would, on yourself. You have a PhD in astrophysics. I'm barely smart enough to say that. You've studied all over the world. It looks like you've done a little of everything when it comes to physics and space and all that kind of stuff. And it sounds like you could do anything. So how did you end up here in Wisconsin, and how is that going? Was that a good choice for you? It sounds like things are going great.
It was an excellent choice. I love what I do. I'm one of those very lucky people who wake up in the morning and think, just get out of my way. I have fun things to do. So I did have a traditional career path, in that I started as a physics major, and then I went to Canada for graduate work, and I found my husband to be as graduate students, and he's academically a year ahead of me. So he had what's called a postdoc, so a research position at Caltech, and he went a year ahead, and I went there too. And I was working on an infrared satellite. I mean, all of these things are super fun and wonderful. He came here, and I had a critical decision to make at some point. Am I going to stay in California, or are we going to live in the same city and have a family? So we decided on the latter. And that turned out to work beautifully because, you know, when your kids are young, you need a little bit of flexibility. So I taught astronomy for a few years, and then an opportunity came up with the planetarium. The person, John Harmon, who was the previous director, was retiring, and the department asked me, could you please be the interim director? And I thought, this is a long way from research on star formation.
Yeah.
But I started doing it, and I thought, oh, this is what I was meant to do.
That's amazing.
Wow. I love it.
So with regard to your PhD, was star formation your field of study? And forgive me for asking a question that's so like general. I don't know how it breaks up into this, but with regard to your astrophysicist PhD, is that what you were doing? Was that your specialty?
Yeah, even that is too big a specialty because star formation is a super complicated thing. So I was looking at a particular galaxy that seems to have a sort of star formation on steroids, and trying to understand what about that galaxy was different that made it possible to have much more star formation happening than, say, our galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what was it?
Yeah, what was it? Was it actually steroids? Was it steroids?
So the steroids is that the molecular clouds, the clouds that give birth to stars, were bigger, denser, hotter than ours.
Mm-hmm.
And the fun part, though, this is quite a few years ago now, at that time, that was cutting edge observations that were possible then. Now, of course, that would be like, we would do that before breakfast, right? It wouldn't be a big deal. But at that time, it was really pushing the edge of what our instruments could do.
We are speaking with Gene Creighton, who is the director of the Manfred Olson Planetarium at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. We were talking about the planetarium itself. It's celebrating its 60th anniversary. We're going to be talking about a few other things as well. I mean, for me, this is amazing and awesome. I could talk about this stuff all day long. So that's how I could talk about space. And I know I understand very little. I'm like, keep talking, blow my mind. Tell me something about the universe. I love that stuff. So we'll be talking more with Gene in a little bit. But if you have any questions, 855-752-4842, 855-75-CIVIC. Leave a comment on the live stream. We are on Facebook, YouTube, and the platform we still call Twitter. Still more ahead with Gene Creighton from the Manfred Olson Planetarium after the break. Don't go anywhere. You are listening to Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba and Greg Bach here on the Civic Media Network. Stay tuned and stay close.
And I think it's gonna be a long, long time till touchdown brings me round again to find I'm not the man they think I am at home. Oh, no, no, no. I'm a rocket man, burning out his fuse out here at home. And I think it's gonna be a long, long time till touchdown brings me round again to find I'm not the man they think I am at home. Oh, no, no, no. I'm a rocket man, burning out his fuse out here alone.
All right, we're taking a little bit longer of a break here for the news, so we come back in about 5 minutes.
Okay.
But then we'll have 14 minutes, and we won't put you back in the waiting room for that. We'll just reset the show, reintroduce you, and get right back into it.
Okay.
We want to talk to you about the matinee series. We're going to talk about how the space night went this week.
Okay.
And then if there's anything else you want to touch on, please let us know.
Okay, so I have a couple of ideas. Something to blow your mind. I think that it's nice to remind people that we are here because of stars.
Yeah.
Right. So our chemistry is all cooked up in stars. We wouldn't be here otherwise. So that's kind of a fun fact.
Okay.
We could talk about Arabian Nights. So that's a cultural series that begins in
April, right?
April.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that.
And what else? And I guess I want to put the idea out that this is open to the public. The programs are not expensive. Some of them are free, and everyone is welcome. That kind of message, that kind of vibe.
Gene, I might ask you. I used to do a lot of stargazing up in northern Wisconsin where there are no lights. I might ask you the best place to see stars without a planetarium, and also about the Eagle Nebula. I saw those photos in the '90s, and they absolutely blew my mind. Just to explain to us, I'll tell people where they can go and Google them. But if you could explain their star incubators, maybe the process a little bit too, because that was one of the most amazing things I've ever seen.
So if I may, if you are super interested in astronomy, that's cool. But I would prefer to talk to them about what they might be able to see if they walked outside now.
Oh, that's totally fine as well.
Because there's some really bright stars visible right now.
Yeah.
So I would, and I can sort of describe it with simple hand gestures. So if you can find Orion, you can find Taurus, you can find Sirius. I think that's the kind of thing that people can do like right now.
Great.
Okay. Fair enough.
Perfect. All right, we come back. We come back in about 3 minutes, and then when we're done, stick around because we'll just have you do one last thing, and then you'll be good to go.
Okay. All right.
Thanks.
All right, 3 minutes. Okay.
you're a sky, 'cause you're a sky full of stars. 'Cause you light up the path.
Welcome back to Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba and Greg Bach. My name is Greg Bach, and across the state with me is Mr. Pete Schwaba. Dom Lee is in Madison, and you can be part of the conversation. 855-752-4842, 855-75-CIVIC. Leave a comment on the live stream. We are streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and the platform we still call Twitter. We are here with our guest, Gene Creighton, who is the director of the Manfred Olson Planetarium at the University of Wisconsin, Milwaukee. And if you ever have a reason to watch the live stream, it's to watch our guests dance at our intro and outro music. That's always wonderful to witness. It means they're cool and having a good time, I'm going to assume. Now, Gene, one of the things that happened this week was something called Space Night. What is that event? How does it go? And is it something that happens regularly that people can take part in?
Space Night is part of Geek Week. So campuses around the country have this week in March where, you can geek out with whatever you want. And of course, Space Night seems to be a natural fit. People are invited to wear whatever space gear they have handy. We usually have space-themed candies like Milky Way and Mars and whatever else. And we do stargazing. It's free. Yeah. The event is targeted since it's midweek for students, but of course, we're happy to get whoever shows up. And we had a group of scouts show up too.
Nice.
So they were very pleased to be part of this.
That's fantastic.
Tell us about the Arabian Nights you have happening in April. That sounds really cool too.
Yes. So as I mentioned before, it's really important for us, Pete, to acknowledge that everybody on the planet looked up and made sense as best they could of how this whole thing has come to be and how we connect to it. The Arabs have very much contributed to the understanding that we have in astronomy. So 2 students are guest speakers with me. One of them, Mohammed Mash, is from Algeria, and Mona Said is from Lebanon. So they're going to talk about their culture, food, singers, personalities that are interesting. So people feel more connected to a place that feels far, right? And also to look at the stars, many of which have Arabic names.
Right. All right.
Like Beetlejuice, right? So it's fun to kind of acknowledge that we're looking at the same sky. We're amazed and awed in the same ways. And often there's some tea and cookies together. It's the sort of events that we need more of, I think.
That sounds very, very fun. We were talking about it right before the break, and you mentioned it during the live stream. But for me, I'm fascinated by just the topic of space, the all-encompassing of it, like from the work that you will do as an astrophysicist to just walking outside and looking up at the stars. There's always mind-blowing facts about space that we don't think about until someone with your expertise says it out loud. What is just something that you like to tell people when they are talking about this topic that just you will say it and that just blows their mind completely about where we come from and how it has to do with space?
Yeah, I think my favorite fact, although of course I have many, but my favorite is that we wouldn't be here if there weren't stars.
Yeah.
Because everything that makes us interesting and organic, our oxygen, our carbon, all of those things, the iron, can only cook in a star. It's the only place where the pressure and temperature gets high enough that you can fuse protons to make those bigger elements. Mm-hmm. So literally we wouldn't be here if stars didn't exist. And I think that's wonderful that when you look up, you literally are looking at your ancestors.
That is fantastic. The first time I ever heard the phrase "we are stardust," that literally blew my mind. And it was like, the same stuff that makes us is in the stars and the gas and dust and all that kind of stuff. I remember going to my grandmother's cottage in Three Lakes, Wisconsin, Gene, and there were no big cities within a couple hundred miles. The stars you saw were unbelievable. And growing up in Chicago and going up there, it made a world of difference for stargazing, obviously. Where do you think the best place in Wisconsin is to stargaze without big telescopes? you've also lived all over the world. You studied physics in Greece and all kinds of places. Where's the best stargazing in the world, and where's the best stargazing in Wisconsin?
So I'm gonna sort of pause here a little bit, Pete, because sometimes we go for perfection and forget about perfection. I mean, perfection, to me, the best observing I've ever done was on the top of Mauna Kea, no question about it. Mauna Kea it's high, the atmosphere is super stable. It was gorgeous. Truly, it took my breath away when I saw the Milky Way, which, by the way, I had never seen before. It literally took my breath away. But to see the Milky Way, you don't need to go to the top of Mauna Kea. Sometimes you can go to a community like in Milwaukee, for example. There's a community called Brown Deer there are no street lights. If you go to a community like that, you might be able to see the Milky Way. The best place in Wisconsin is at the tip of Door County. That is one of the designated, the designated dark space. But I've had students, university students, who, one of them I remembered specifically, she said, I'm from Wales and I could see this. I could see this dark sky. And I said to her, you don't sound like you're from Wales. She said, Wales, Wisconsin. Okay, I see. So I think that some of our listeners will have access to really dark skies. Yeah. And for those of us who live in cities, this is your invitation. The universe is sending you a message. Find a friend who lives out of town. Maybe go camping. Warmer nights are coming. It really is something special to see some of those beautiful dark skies. But I'm here to say, and Greg mentioned that earlier, we can see cool stuff in our backyard. So don't ignore the stuff, the easy, the low-hanging fruit. Can I tell you about some low-hanging fruit?
Please.
Yes, please do.
This is the time of year. This is the best sky in terms of brightness. So we have what I describe as a bow tie, and that would be Orion. The Anishinaabe people call it Winterbringer. If you can see Orion in the sky, we're still in wintertime, right? Especially in the early evening. So Orion is great because it has 3 stars where the 2 bows connect, 3 stars in a row. Some cultures call those the 3 kings. Those 3 stars point to the brightest star in the sky called Sirius, or the dog star. And if you go in the other direction, it points to a sharp V, which is Taurus, the bull.
Mm-hmm.
And close to that, you will find the 7 sisters. You don't need a telescope to see those. You need darkish sky, but you can see them in the city if your eyesight is good. There are a super cool cluster of stars. They're physically relatively near each other, and they're beautiful to look at. And again, this is one of those groupings that many people around the world built observatories according to when the Pleiades rise and set. You might have heard them as Subaru, like the car company.
That is the voice of Jean Creighton. She's the director of the Manfred Olson Planetarium at UW Milwaukee. I think it's funny, Jean, when I was a kid, I would go into movie theaters, and sometimes they had the twinkling stars on the ceiling, and we would always be like, oh my gosh, I don't think enough people do that when they can see actual stars in the sky. Is that the job of the planetarium, is just to get people excited about space? We have such natural beauty. When you look up, you couldn't even conceive that. Yeah. And it's out there. Do enough people appreciate it, in your opinion?
Well, they don't, because they don't see it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And unfortunately, people spend too much time now looking down.
Right.
Rather than looking up. So I do think that the planetarium has a great role to play of making more people aware of, oh, look up. It's really gorgeous, you know? And again, connecting to something also a bit bigger, that our Earth is part of a whole universe.
And speaking of the planetarium, what other programs do you have coming up? Is there anything planned for the 60th, like a series of plans, or anything coming up that folks might be interested in attending and checking out the website?
Thank you for asking. Yes. Yeah. So we're starting a series of programs called Solar System Expedition. Mm-hmm. We're offering it as a matinee. Most of our programs are in the evening, but because there are people who don't care for driving out at nighttime. We wanted to make it easy for families to visit us during the day. So for the Saturdays in March, we're going to have the Solar System Expedition from 2 to 3, and you can get tickets online. The programs that we're offering for the 60th are probably going to culminate in the fall.
Okay.
We're dreaming of a storytelling session. We haven't quite figured out the details yet, but we want to give people a chance to talk about some of their favorite stories connecting themselves to stars.
Oh,
I can tell you one story if you want.
Please. Yes, please. Yeah, please and thank you.
But talk slow so we can comprehend it. This is amazing.
I think this will be fairly intuitive. So when I was in Greece still, I had just finished a lesson in English, and I was waiting at the bus stop to go home. I was getting super nervous because I was going to another country, and I was, going to do a graduate degree in astronomy, and I was nervous about all these changes and what the challenge might be. So I remember thinking, okay, wow, this is kind of tough. And I'm sitting waiting at the bus stop, and all of a sudden this aroma from jasmine came. This would have been June. This beautiful kind of aroma enveloped me, and I looked a little more closely toward the west, and I saw that the crescent moon and Venus were there, and Venus was super bright. And I thought, you know what? The universe is telling me it's going to be all right. I'm going to be all right. And I have this very strong sense of, sometimes you just get these beautiful messages, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
you feel connected. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Jean, I have to assume you've been doing this. You've been in this world for decades now. You've been doing this work. And I want to say that the joy that your face portrays, the happiness you have towards this topic, the passion is so there. And it's so wonderful to hear someone who's been doing it for this long, who speaks like it's your first day, like you're so excited, and the way you convey this message is so important. And we will make sure that the Manfred Olson Planetarium is in our show notes so people can check it out, get tickets to events. I know I would like to go to this as well. And it's wonderful to have you here talking about this.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a joy. It's a joy. Yeah.
Go ahead, Jean. Sorry.
I was just going to say, anytime I have a chance to share my passion, invite people, make sure that people know we want you to come and visit us. Please come and visit us. We do also private shows. So if somebody can't make our programs, our public programs, you can always have a birthday or anniversary at the planetarium.
Oh, I love that.
Oh,
all right.
Man.
That is fantastic. Greg, your birthday party, that's where we're having it. Jean, thank you so much. Keep up the great work, and please come back soon. I didn't even get to ask you about your experience with Sophia, so we'll do that next time. And thank you for your passion and everything you do to increase awareness about such beauty. It's been great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me.
All right, this is Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba and Greg Bach. We are coming back with a handy tip from Greg and Pete, and maybe Dom will chime in. All right, we're coming right back. Don't go anywhere. This is the Civic Media Network.
There's a starman waiting in the sky. He'd like to come and meet us.
All right. Thank you so very much for being here. We really appreciate it.
Great. Thank you.
It's fantastic. So all you need to do now is at the bottom of the screen on your computer, there's an orange button with an arrow pointing to the right.
Yep.
You can press that button. It will lead you out of the stream, but it will upload the audio and visual, and you'll be good to go, and you're done.
Okay. So are you going to send me the link to this?
We can do that. Yep.
Cool. It would be useful because then we can put it on our social media or whatever. It's just good.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. We can do that.
So anytime, hit me
up.
up.
Definitely. We'll do it again soon.
Yeah.
This is really fun. Thank you.
Maybe we'll do a show from the planetarium. Yes.
Oh, that'd be fun.
All right. Have a wonderful weekend,
thanks so
Jean. Thanks.
Jean.
Bye-bye. Let me find the little red thingy. Okay. So I'll leave the studio. Yep. And leave an open uploads page.
Yep. Perfect. Yeah.
That was cool.
Oh,
man.
that's another one where it could have been like I honestly like we should book her for like a long conversation because
I was surprised. Like I thought for sure she would want to talk about the Eagle Nebula photos. Those were the most amazing thing I've ever seen. But it's probably just another day to her, you know.
I mean,
she's
honestly,
got so much.
I kind of love that she wanted to pivot and say, no, go out in your backyard.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
you don't have to get in the car and travel 5 hours. It's right there. It's just look up, people.
For sure. Hey, what's the tip, Greg? What's the handy tip?
You'll find out in a moment.
Ooh.
This one isn't so much funny. It's more it's in the line of casual Friday as well as what we were just talking about.
Beautiful. We've got one text. I think we're good.
There we go.
Danny Wheels.
Danny Wheels. There's a starman waiting in the sky.
602 texts.
Oh, man.
Oh, this is a good one. Good text.
I saw your face light up as soon as you saw that.
Well, it just sounds like something I would have done. Totally.
Wait, are we talking to...
Oh, are we on the air? I'm sorry. No.
No, we're not.
Totally kidding. All right, we got the stream comments. One more text and then a social media text. And then Greg's handy tip of the evening. On the first casual Friday handy tip. Oh. That's huge. That's huge.
Nothing like
huge. China.
Forgot about that.
China. All right.
All right, guys. We are coming back in 20 seconds.
All right.
I don't like it.
Welcome back to Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba and Greg Bach. My name is Greg Bach. Across the state from me is Pete Schwaba. In Madison, we have Mr. Dom Lee on the ones and twos. Everyone, thank you so much for being here tonight. Thank you for being here this week. Thank you for being a part of Nite Lite 2.0, week number 2, our first casual. You know what? Let's do it one more time, Dom. One more time. It's Casual Friday, so we got ourselves a sounder for it.
It's Casual Friday with Pete and Greg.
It sounds like Casual Friday after dark.
Yeah. You can always be part of the conversation, 855-752-4842, 855-75-CIVIC. Leave a comment on the live stream. We are streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and the platform we still call Twitter. We got a great show for you this Monday, because coming Monday, we're going to be talking to Kathy O'Neill, who's the author of Weapons of Math Destruction. We're going to be talking about the dangers of big data, as well as a discussion with Tim Sowers, who is the co-CEO and chief artistic officer.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay, chief. See, that's better than a chief tasting officer.
He's got a huge title. Yeah.
Yeah. Chief Artistic Experiences Officer at the Overture Center. So that's going to be on Monday. So don't go anywhere, and don't tune away after us. We got lots of great programming after us as well. We still have some more comments about today's question, which was, what was the lamest excuse you've heard or given for being late? Pete, go ahead. What are some more?
Here's one of my favorites. Daniel Wheeler from Menasha says, what's the lamest excuse for being late to work? Walgreens was offering a buy one box of Lucky Charms cereal, get another half off, but my loyalty card wasn't working. So they issued me a new card, which is why I'm 90 minutes late to work. Wow. That is gorgeous.
I believe that, because if I go to a Walgreens nowadays, there's usually one, maybe two people working. And if I go there, someone in front of me is having a problem with their loyalty card.
Yes.
And they have to go back into it, and they have to redo the entire order, or they have to take things off, or this doesn't work, or that. And I am sitting there for, like, I have a bottle of coffee creamer in my hand, and I'm sitting there for 20 minutes. And it is such an exercise in patience and calm, and to understand that no one wants to be in this situation either. So there's no
Right.
reason to get angry or do that thing that the people go, look around like, does anyone else feel the same way I do? So we could all huff and puff at each other.
Right, because that hasn't been us at one time either, having an issue with something and holding up the line. And that's where I thought you were going to say, the same excuse could be, I was behind some guy trying to buy a box of Lucky Charms and get one free. But that's you got to make up these crazy things like people think you couldn't have possibly made that up. And that is a beautiful one right there. We also have Chris Opera on social media says, I told my boss once that I was halfway in when I realized I left my car keys at home. I had to turn around and go back home to get them. So he lied and I came back to bite him.
Womp, womp.
I love that. Awesome text tonight, folks. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for being a part of the show this evening. Now let's move it on to a handy tip from Pete and Greg.
Oh, it's the tip of the night.
All that money you hear at the end right there, that is the money we spent on that Muppets cameo.
Absolutely.
So it's Casual Friday. We're having a good time today. We're kicking back. Great conversation with Jean Creighton about space, but more so what I loved is that her desire to let people know that there's great stuff in your backyard. There's great stuff at your fingertips. It's right there where you can find it. It's free. You don't have to spend a lot of money. You don't have to drive 30 hours to see something. And that's kind of my tip tonight is, we got warmer weather coming our way. Go outside and look up at the stars for a moment. It sounds so dumb, but it's true. Give yourself 5 minutes. Walk in your backyard or wherever you can and just look up and just concentrate on the stars and just kind of like turn your mind off. We were talking to, we had a conversation with, we haven't played that yet. No, yeah. Next week, we're talking to Cortland Dahl about meditation. Put yourself in a meditative space for like 2 to 3 minutes, look up at the stars, relax your brain, take it in, enjoy. That's my tip is to just look up, take it in and enjoy. Pete?
I mean, I totally agree with you. One of the great things I love about living in Northeast Wisconsin in a smaller town right by the water here, we're just off of the body of water of Green Bay, is that we get to lay on the pier sometimes and look up at the stars. And it's something that and I kind of asked Gene this, you kind of take it for granted because they're just always there. I don't think we do when we get a little older, but when I was younger, I'd look up if someone told me to look up. There you can see Venus or there's a satellite and that's really cool. But to see such majestic beauty every single night, if there aren't clouds, you have it right there and all you have to do is look up. And it's really stunning when you see this is something an artist couldn't even create this. That's how beautiful the sky can be.
And to paraphrase what Gene said with regard to looking up at the stars, look up at the stars and look at your ancestors because that's where we come from. Because of that up there, those stars, in that space, we are who we are in our space right here on Earth. So again, look up, take it in, relax your mind, treat yourself to a moment to yourself. That is my handy tip for the night. And look at your ancestors up in the sky. And that brings us to the end of another tip from Pete and Greg.
Oh, it's the tip of the night.
I forgot that had outro music. So I was saying the stars are beautiful. Gene was very interesting, but at the end of the day, I just want to sit on my couch and watch color TV. Is that wrong?
New Girl. Watch some New Girl.
I got a whole series ahead of me. It sounds
like you do. Maybe it's on the Hulu. All right. On behalf of Pete, I want to thank Dom. I want to thank Tucker, Traffic and Engineering. Without your work, we do not talk into microphones that are switched on. For everyone who called, texted, left a comment on the live stream, thank you. Without you, there is no us. Thank you to Jason Sheff. Thank you to Jean Creighton for all of your great information, all the wonderful conversations we had with you. Don't go anywhere. We still got lots of programming ahead tonight, and we'll be back on Monday, same time, 5 to 7 here on the Civic Media Network. This has been Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba and Greg Bach. Pete, say goodnight to the folks.
Good night, Wisconsin. Look up at the stars.